you. Thank you so much. Thank you. They just took away all my words that I have to say. What can I tell you? So that piece, that's a part of the piece that Jordan Peele heard. And my introduction to this film community happened later in my life than I intended it to happen. But it took a filmmaker like Jordan Peele to hear that music and think, that guy should be collaborating with me on my first film. And it's amazing to me that he had the ability to see the possible collaboration in that music. But what he also, I think, was looking for was someone who understood not only how to write for strings and how to write music that's in some ways American and in some ways warm, but in other ways unusual and challenging and could even be terrifying, but also someone who understood the African American experience to score a film like Get Out. And it's important that we keep telling all of our stories, because the moving image is the way that it's our clearest look into our history as the story is told. And we've seen in this country lately how the idea of really telling all of our stories terrifies the shit out of people. Pardon my French, but my job mostly that I'm hired for is to terrify the shit out of people. So we need to be inclusive in our storytelling. And to do that, we need to be inclusive in who we allow to tell our stories and who we allow access to this wonderful medium that we all are a part of. And I'm happy to say that in the short time I've been in the industry, I feel like we're improving. I really do, thanks to the realization that inclusion is not just good for the soul, but good for the box office. So there's that part of it. But it's also that due to all of the new technology, there's a lot more content that gets to be seen, and therefore there's a lot more content makers. So I tell young composers and as part of when I got to score Get Out, when Jordan Peele tracked me down, he had the post-production supervisor call me, and so I assumed I was being punked by someone claiming to be a producer calling me in Los Angeles. But he turned out he had an IMDb profile longer than my arm, so and I had to ask a friend to look him up on IMDb because I didn't have an account. Where was I in the story? Oh, just that. So I got sent cold what was to become the Oscar-winning script for Best Original Screenplay. And after Get Out, I was thrust into the industry, and I would see other people of color, and we would say, like you do, we should hang out. And finally, after saying enough of that, we realized, we just have to set a time and place and tell everybody we're gonna hang out. And that's what will make it happen. And so we sent out an invite like 2 weeks before it was gonna happen. And if you're a party planner, you're already saying, that's not how you plan a party. So I thought if we got 10 people, we'd be doing well. But we got 50 people. And that just showed there was a need. So we co-founded the Composers Diversity Collective. And the object is to raise our visibility in the industry. Thank you. But because now that we all know that diversity is good for the box office, lots of people want to hire more inclusively, but it's hard when you don't know anybody, or that's what they would say. But now people say, but I know people, but now they're all working. So we have the composersdiversitycollective.org, and if you are looking to be more inclusive in your hiring, please allow us to fill up your contacts with composers from every walk of life and part of the globe who write every kind of music you can imagine. And let us help tell your character stories. So I would really like to thank, the Museum of the Moving Image for this award. I'm really, really honored. When you're a person who's always thinking that, you know, in art we always think that our work could be a little better. It could always be a little better, and you're always having to strive for that. And so to stop and hear that your work is good is kind of hard to take in, you know. And I'm really honored to be included amongst these filmmakers whose work I really respect, and to think that I'm contributing in my way to this wonderful art form is really, I feel really blessed and grateful. And so, Harlem Quartet, thank you so much. Thank you, that was wonderful. And the last thing I want to say is, of course, I want to thank Jordan Peele for hiring me based on my possibility rather than my resume. And yeah. And one last thought about that, which is that the way that we can, you know, why do people look to this country and still want to come here? It's because, I think, of our content. It's because of our films and our stories and the way we tell them, which is what we say in the background of the stories, sometimes in the foreground. But what we say is that, come here and everybody gets their shot. And everybody wants to live in a world where that's true. Everybody. And we need to keep making sure that that's the truth. So the thing we can do is, when we have a chance to hire, and all of us in this room have a chance to hire at some point, hire inclusively, and just hire people based on their possibility instead of their resume. Thank you.